We're back at Disneyland. Yeah.
Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy.
I'm here in wonderful, fantastic Fantasyland. In a black shirt on a very hot day. Time to change clothes. In case you hadn't heard, Disneyland is a very popular place. Look at all these happy people. We're in wonderful, fantastic Fantasyland, where some of the most popular rides in this popular place exist. But did you know that Disneyland is so popular that at least 8 presidents of the United States have visited here? True, they weren't all sitting presidents. Ronald Reagan's first visit was to dedicate this place on opening day. He was one of the television reporters. And of course he visited many other times, being from California. California native Richard Nixon visited Disneyland many times and even helped dedicate the monorail with his daughters. All the way back in the 60s, Dwight D. Eisenhower visited with his wife. Mr. and Mrs. Eisenhower even became honorary firefighters and kicked it upstairs at Walt's apartment above the fire station. On a recent visit to Disney World in Florida, President Obama told stories about coming to the original Disneyland right here in Anaheim as a kid. Jimmy Carter popped in one morning before the park was open for a jogging tour around Disneyland. George H.W. Bush visited while he was still Vice President of the United States. He just couldn't get enough of Geppetto's pizza. But as far as we can tell, his son George W. was more of a Knott's Berry Farm kind of guy. Makes sense. It's a cowboy thing, I guess. That's what I meant. If you've been keeping track, that's only 6 presidents. So who was the 7th president to visit wonderful, fantastic, magical Disneyland? Who was the 7th president? Senator John F. Kennedy visited Disneyland as part of his speaking tour of California, where he bumped into President of Guinea, Ahmed Sékou Touré. Sékou Touré? I think I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, he was president of Guinea, not the United States, but it's kind of another president, so 7.5. We'll just call it 7.5. John F. Kennedy, right here. Hey, I love California. I love Disneyland and girls. I love girls. So our last visiting president was actually the first visiting president. That blowing your mind, it's blowing my mind, it's blowing mine all over. President Harry S. Truman. He and his wife, the lovely First Lady Bess Truman, visited Disneyland in 1957. Oh, she was brand spanking new back then. Maybe most famous for ordering the 2 atomic bombs to be dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Old President Truman didn't want to be a stick in the mud, so reports from the time say he really got into the spirit and rode most of the rides here. But there's one ride old Harry Truman would not ride. He absolutely, adamantly, but politely refused to ride on Dumbo, the flying elephant. That's right, Dumbo, the flying elephant. Now, I don't know, maybe some of you are not from the United States, so you don't know, or maybe some of you aren't that into politics, but the elephant is the symbol of the Republican Party. And old Harry Truman, having been FDR's vice president, was a Democrat. And of course, the Republican symbol is the elephant, but the Democrat Party symbol is a donkey. It's just too bad Pinocchio's Daring Journey wasn't here yet. Plenty of jackasses on that ride. Yep, old Harry T decided to forego the fun on the Dumbo ride. He apparently felt it was beneath his dignity for a Democratic president to be seen sitting in the symbol of Republican excess. I don't think that guy's a Republican. The reporters did their best to convince Truman to get on the ride anyways, but he was stubborn as a mule and refused. Poor Dumbo felt pretty rejected.
Oh, I'm sad.
He even considered quitting aviation for a while until his friend Timothy Q. Mouse reminded him that, hey, Republicans have been in office since 1953. Dwight D, baby, Dwight David Eisenhower. It's all right, buddy. It's okay. Luckily, Dumbo didn't stay down in the trunk for long, and he's been flying out here at Disneyland ever ever since.
Oh, what? Your ears aren't that big.
Sadly though, the whole thing left Dumbo a little ambiguous when it comes to politics, and to this very day, he votes independent. So the moral of the story is, if you want to have a whale of a good time, leave your politics at home, and you'll have a lot more fun here at Disneyland. That's all I got for you today. Make sure you subscribe. We'll have a bunch more videos coming up. Hello! Check out the links below down here for more information on presidential visits to Disneyland. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!